would you like to be able to sell more properties to build an investment portfolio? Today, we have Justin Udy, and he will tell us how. He's a real estate agent and investor, and Justin sells a large volume of residential, luxury, and investment properties. And today, we are going to find out exactly how he does that. So, Justin, tell us, what's the secret for any property investor or property agent to sell more than the rest?
Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu. Mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services.
Well, I think first of all that you have to have a personal brand. You really have to focus on branding. Make sure you understand what it is to market and reach more people. Second, you have to have really a heart of a teacher. You have to make sure that you're providing a world-class customer service experience. And three, you have to really learn your craft. You have to make sure that you know exactly what to do, what to say it, and how to do it every day. And it just comes down to these three things: is you have to have a very good mindset, an amazing skill set, and do it every day. So mindset, skill set, and discipline in everything that you do.
Thank you. Tell us more about what's the best way to find good deals for people to sell.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're somebody that's in the market where you're essentially an agent looking to find opportunities where you can service or help them, right? There's a number of items that you can do. And number one is you're going to reach out to your sphere of influence. You're going to reach out to the people that you know first, because they're the people that know, like, and trust you. When you get into a new business, it's always going to be very difficult to get started. But the people that already know you, they know your character, they know who you are, they know what you're doing. And so they're going to be able to help you in that way. However, your sphere of influence only goes so far. So one of the things that I'm always going to tell you is that you have to be in business building activities every single day. You have to reach out to people. You have to create opportunities for yourself. There's some people that will get on the phone and they'll cold call. Some people say, all I want to do is social media. Then I will tell you, then you have to reach out to people via social media. And then there may be people that are like, look, I just want to be one-on-one. I want to see them face to face. Guess what? You're going to be the people that are knocking on doors. But if you're looking for opportunities, you do have to physically go out and build the business, meaning go out and find the opportunities. And there's different people out there that are always what we call a little bit more motivated, or they're a little bit down the sales funnel. That can be like, for sale by owners, expired listings. They can be people that frankly are behind on payments on their houses. They can be people that are getting in a divorce. I mean, think about death, divorce. What changes life, right? When life changes. And so it's when people pass away, it's when people get married, it's when they get divorced, it's when they have kids, it's when the kids move out, right? So these life-changing events is when people typically want to make a move. And those are the people you're essentially targeting. And so you can have the opportunity to either pay for leads or create them on your own. And if you're beginning in the business, you don't want to go broke. So you're going to reach out a way, but over time, you're going to find other opportunities.
Thank you. What's the best way to find these people that are going through life changes that are significant enough to them to want to sell their property?
So I think the biggest question that people just need to think about is like, where is urgency found? Like, where do you find motivated people? So there was different things where every single day I would reach out to, I had 30 people that I had to reach out to every single day. So I had a checklist. And I had to reach out to those people, but I had different people that I would specifically reach out to. One, I'd look for every property on the market that was for rent. Why? I knew that property was vacant. I knew those people wanted to fill that property. And frankly, I was looking for an investment property at that time. So if I called every single one of them, nope, we're not selling. Nope, we're not selling. Nope, we're not selling. You know what? This property's been sitting vacant for like 2 months. If I have to make another payment, I'm going to, this is really going to cause me a financial burden. I would consider selling. Would you come over today? So where do you find those? You have to be resourceful. You can buy leads where you're literally finding, how do I find properties for rent? There's going to be companies out there that you can You can essentially pay for a source. They're going to send you an email every single day, and you can call those people. Or you can do a search in your own local classified ads online, and you can see those people and you can search them yourself. This business is one, any business you have, I will say, you just want to find a way to make sure that you're creating opportunities for yourself. And when you get very busy and you don't have the time to do the searching, that's when you're getting somebody else or you're paying for the lead source. But in the beginning, find the opportunities of where you want to look. Do you want to focus on for sale by owners? Do you want to focus on expired properties where the property was listed and it's now off? Do you want to focus on investments? So focus on where you want to focus, but the people that are typically the most motivated are people that are essentially the for sale by owners, because they're already on the market and they're hoping to sell. The people that were on the market and they never sold, they were pretty motivated and they lost some gas along the way, whether it was, the confidence of the agent they worked with or the confidence in the market. And then there's people that are essentially kind of living on the edge. Those are behind on payments, folks. People that are having a divorce decree in place, which is typically public record, depending on where you're at, where you can do those searches or pay for those searches, because those people tend to be, very motivated.
Thank you. You're an expert in selling high-end luxury properties. What's the best way to find warm leads to buy your properties?
So the best way that I find to find warm leads, right, is there's a number of different ways that we go about it. So number one is it's preparation of the physical property, making sure the condition and the marketability of that property is extremely high. And then three, making sure that we're showcasing it or we're spending the energy to put it out there, meaning if it looks very well, it shows very well, and we've priced it according to the market, it will attract the most amount of eyes, because it not only it looks like it's attractive from a price point, but the photos and everything that you've done in the work makes sense. So one of the programs that I do, and I'm not recommending everybody do this, but I'll spend up to $10,000 in making improvements to my clients' properties in order that it's a showcase property. But I always just say, like, listings or properties you have will produce additional results, or listings have babies, sometimes we'll say, because if you have a listing or a property, what the people that are looking either have a home to sell or they typically are ready to buy. And so you now maybe have the opportunity to assist them if that property just doesn't make sense. So you're one result of that one person that either wanted to you could help, typically creates other opportunities for yourself.
Thank you. What's the best way to structure the deal with a landlord who wants to sell, and let's say the property is worth millions, but they don't want to invest necessarily in staging the property and doing it up a little bit for the eyes of the buyer?
Yeah, for sure. And that happens a lot, right? Because you've seen tenants or people in properties where, frankly, like, they're kind of nasty. The way the tenant lives isn't how you'd showcase a home. So in those scenarios, we typically do the following. One, I ask them for the photos of what they had been using to market that property for. I don't want to market it for what it is, as far as the physical condition today with the tenant. I want to market it at what it looked like when the other person got out. You painted the walls, you put in the new carpet, because they typically have good photos then, right? So I'm going to get those old photos. Part two is just remember on investment properties, which we treat a little bit different than single family homes. Single family homes, we do what we refer to as comparable sales, right? Things that are very similar and like in condition and quality. Whereas with investment properties, this is through the comparable approach. And investment properties is what we refer to as the income approach. So we'll typically do what we refer to as maybe a pro forma, or essentially a calculation of rents, a calculations of expenses, in order to come up with a net operating income, because that income is what's going to be attractive to an investor on the market. So we do have to showcase it. Nobody wants to buy a dump that they have to invest a bunch of money into. But if they know what the income is and the overall what the condition of that property is, I sell a number of properties that the people never go into the property until we have it under contract. And we call it, essentially, we just say, make your offers all subject to a physical inspection of the home once under contract. So that's just a way around it.
Wow, very fascinating. Tell us more about what's the secret between what's the difference between an agent who sells a lot of properties at the top price and agents who never manage to do it? What's the thing in their, is it a mindset thing? Is it in their energy? Is it something that they just work harder than everyone else? Is it that they have the right network? What are the principles that every top producing property agent should adhere to make sure that they are outranking everyone else?
Okay. So if you want to outrank and you really want to be the number one person in the market, you literally just have to really be the best person in the market. Now, how do you do that? I think there's a thing, and this goes back to really self-mastery. I talked about mindset, skill set, and discipline. I mean, you really first have to just have your mindset in line that you are truly creating your best self. I mean, I'm always recommending to the agents that work for me or the agents that I coach, get up early, right? Do a daily workout. Make sure you're reading from the very absolute best books, and then build your craft, build your business so that you are the absolute best, you know the best, and nobody can beat you. Because when you have a sales business that surpasses everyone, that gives you the ability to invest into other things, that invest in your business, invest in properties, invest in other things that will produce additional income to assist you to continue to grow your business. But the difference between the people that maybe just kind of get by, I mean, the average real estate agent, I believe, will sell anywhere from 3 to 5 to 7 homes a year. I know my biggest year that I sold homes, I sold 97 homes in 1 year. That put me in the top 1% in the nation. And I will tell you, the only way I did that is first of all, my mindset was in line that I really knew I can help these people better than anyone. 2, my skill set was really above par. I'd invested in myself to make sure that I really did know what to do, how to do it, whether it be investment properties, whether it be land, multifamily, single family homes, residential, whatever it was. I mean, you give me an address in our market, I knew probably within 10 grand of what it would be. Why? I spent every day at my crap being like, what do I need to know? And that's, I think, a good point in any business, right? Whenever you're looking at your business saying, man, I just don't know if I'm real, I know that, but I don't really know it well. Dig deep and master that one items. Then go to the next one and master that next item. I was working with a lot of builders. I remember I had a community. We had a little over 100 units. And it was a development project, and it was great. And I understood development. Like when I got into this business, I got in as an investor. And then I got my agent said, hey, you get the sticks and bricks, you understand sales, you really should just get your license, And that year I was rookie of the year. And it's because I understood you got to have a high contact business, reach as many you can, provide just world-class service. And fortunately, I did really well. But in doing that, I remember I understood the business, but I was had this feeling man, I really need to, there was a little bit of a gap, right? I mean, I felt really good about it, but I was I really need to make a adjustment. And that's when I said, you know what? They have this thing at the university, and it was called a Master's in Real Estate Development. And I was like, you know what? I know it's a 2-year program, but I'm I just feel like if I did that, man, I would be the freaking best. And sure enough, I went back and did that. Why? I didn't need it for my business. We were selling over 200 homes a year in my little team. Income was super high. I had a team of people, but for me personally, I knew I needed to be my best self so that I could give that man away, right? And that's what I think. If we think of any of our businesses that way, be your best self so you can give that person away, nobody's ever going to beat you. You will be the best brand because they want to be, there's something different about that person. They serve me better. They help me better. They provide me more resources because it's not about the money. It's about them wanting to help you, And so I would say, what is the difference? Is you're continually making yourself the best you can possibly be. You're building your crafts. You're best at the business and nobody can beat you. But you are so disciplined that no matter what the day is, no matter what's happening, people know, like, and trust you because they can rely on you, but that's because they know you are so disciplined. I mean, frankly, that's why I focus so much on daily workouts. It's like, it's a hard thing. And when people know that you physically are just in a state of high frequency, like when you've done those things, the hard things that most people never get done by noon, and you've done them by, all the hard things people never even get done, you've done them by 9 a.m. I mean, they just have a different level of trusting you, looking at you. And that's how you build a brand, right? Because they know that you're the person that they can go to with any issue because you've solved the problems, but you've spent the time building yourself.
Thank you. What do top selling property agents and landlords need to learn about body language and interpreting the little cues that sellers showcase when that kind of allow them to sell more?
I mean, I would just say, if your question is, what do they need to know? I mean, frankly, if you want to be the best salesperson, you need to know everything, right? That needs to be part. If you want to be a great salesperson, you need to study sales, right? You need to understand mannerisms. You need to understand and match and mimic their tone of voice. You need to do question-based selling, asking more questions, being more curious. I mean, sometimes you're just asking questions just to see if you can even help that person, because once you understand them, that's when you can lean in to provide them the services and the things that you can do. But the importance of that is it's going to be it's going to be one of the core fundamentals that people need to spend their time on. I mean, really, 80% of the business in the beginning is going to be you investing into time and energy of understanding people, understanding the business, and understanding how you can serve them. And once you're essentially master those items, now you essentially have your arsenal so that you can serve them, right? You need to understand human nature. You got to understand societal norms. I mean, and frankly, you got to make yourself socially acceptable. Like, you've got to make yourself physically look good. I mean, you go to any other place, a real estate office, I'm telling you, nobody wears a suit and a tie. Nobody does. On my team, we wear it every single day, but we also sell more properties than any other agents in the market, right? But it's because we essentially just approach it a little bit different. And some people have their own, their way of going about it. There's a guy that I know sells properties to a bunch of, skateboarders and different, but that's his niche. That's his thing. That's his group. For me, I went and met with an attorney this morning, then I went and met with some developers, and I want them to see me as their peer because I can serve them one-on-one, as opposed to, well, who's this dude in a jeans and a t-shirt and his flip-flops? You got to show up, you got to present yourself and be socially acceptable so that they see you as somebody that can help them.
Thank you. What would you like all top selling agents and landlords to remember about selling more properties?
I mean, what I want you to remember is this, right? In this business, anybody can do it, but nobody wants to maybe spend the time and energy to do it correctly. And if you will spend the time and energy, the point of no return is when you essentially make the commitment. So know that once you commit to being the best in whatever you do, whether it be, you're going to be the best agent in the market that's selling, buying, working with investors. If you're a landlord saying, I want to get more properties, get more opportunities. I mean, frankly, you're going to have to probably either produce more income out of your properties, or in your personal business, increase the sales business so you can invest in more. So what opportunity does not waste time for people that are unprepared? So prepare yourself every single day to be the best in your business. Prepare your mind, prepare your body, prepare your soul so that you can give that, and provide a value to people. But when you do those things different, not only are you going to be you're an asset to yourself, but you'll be an asset to others. But it's because you're serving them completely different. And there's fundamentals and different lead sources and different opportunities and different things you can go to, but you will never find those things if you're functioning at a low frequency. And that's why when you invest in yourself and the things that you need to do every single day, you're getting up early, you're feeding your mind, you're taking your care physically, you're eliminating vices from your life. The things that you're like, oh, yeah, I probably should have done that this weekend. I feel freaking horrible, right? Get rid of them. There's nothing that ever happens good from these low frequency activities. Focus on your craft, focus on what you would like, make the efforts every single day to build towards that. And those small steps will compound over time. So make the decision, make the commitment to move forward, prepare yourself, and you'll see opportunities come, but it's with a disciplined schedule, a disciplined habits, and doing it every day.
Thank you. What's the best way for top producing agents and landlords to sell more properties and by following up? What is a good process for the follow-up to make sure that a lot of those otherwise, deals that people would have forgotten about actually get closed?
Yeah, so I think follow-up is really the reason that it's so important is because you've spent so much effort where you've talked to, sometimes we call it the 110-1 rule. People will look at 100 deals online, they'll narrow it to their top 10 and they pick one. It's the same way with the opportunities we have. We may talk to 100 different people, that are 10 that are interested, and we only meet with one of them, but that person may not be ready today. And so you want to make sure that one, you're always creating a database of people so that you know who they are, where they're located, what is their best phone number, and their best method of communication with them. Is it call? Is it text? Is it video? So that you know how to communicate them so you can stay in touch with them. Part two is that you have to really rate them as like super hot. I'm just going to watch them. Maybe I'm just going to nurture them, or, hey, I'm only going to follow up with this person. It's pretty cold, but I'm going to call them once a month. If they're super hot, you may be calling them every other day. If I'm going to watch, I may be calling them every couple of weeks. If they're not even going to do anything, I'm just going to follow up once a month, but you put it on your calendar or you plug it into your call. If you have, an actual a call system where you're plugging it in there, right? Where you're going to say, hey, every Monday at this time, I'm going to call these people, then do that. But you also just want to make sure that you're having those people in place. Folks, if you're sending them properties, make sure you're getting them those opportunities. Find opportunities to be valuable, meaning, keep a list of those folks. Let's just say I have a list of my top 20 people. Joe's looking for a single family home. John is looking for a multifamily property. Edward is looking for a commercial property. Every single day, I'm focusing on my business, trying to find opportunities in the market because that's what I do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing multifamily property. You know what? John right here, I'm going to call John. Hey, John, I found a property on 123 whatever street. That property is actually, it looks below market, or it looks like it's a value add opportunity. Hey, if you're interested, let me know. Otherwise, looking forward to talking to you soon. Thanks again. Take care. So you're giving them information. I mean, one of the things, I was looking at my desk to see if I had our newsletter, but I'll publish a quarterly newsletter, so they just get some physical mail from me, right? And yeah, folks, don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I don't have a newsletter. It could be literally you write down your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, you could chat GPT saying, here's the things I know about our market. Inventory's up 40%. We've had sales that are down 11%. You get the data from your local market or whatever. And this is my perspective. There's a lot of buyers coming in the market, but with the interest rates, they're a little bit scared just because they're not sure what's going to happen. Sellers tend to be holding to their price, but the ones that are selling, man, they are selling like hotcakes, and we're seeing a lot of activity. If you're interested in buying or selling, investing in the market, let me know. Plug that in the chat GPT, say, plug this into a one-page letter and send it to those people. It doesn't have to be complicated, or put it in a text or put it in an email, but it's your input will be the output. And so you do either have to make the call, send the text, do the email, but get in front of them, leaving messages with their method of communication, be it text, email, phone, but also if you have something tangible, that's always a good idea. Follow up with a thank you card, send them your business card. If you don't have a business card and you don't own one, guess what? Have a thank you card and write your number in it so they save it, I mean, don't overthink it. The point is, be consistent about reaching out to people. I have agents that'll say to me all the time, well, I'm only social media. I said, great. Reach out to 30 people a day on social media then. Every single day, right? That's your job, is to create opportunities. You don't want to be it's not the best brand. It's the best known brand. So create that opportunity for yourself.
Thank you. What are the top AI tools that can be leveraged for property sales that will allow you to increase your lead generation and your closing rate?
I mean, I would just say this. There is no AI tool out there that will surpass your ability to reach people and understand their needs. Okay. So you need to understand there's tools that will help you make and enhance your activities, but you have to do it every day. Tools such as we mentioned, like a Chat GPT, right? The first one I ever used was one called Jasper, way overpriced, but it was one of the first tools, and it allowed us the ability to just take certain things that I wanted to spend 30 seconds and talk about, as opposed to spending, 15, 20 minutes in the office to do it. It was just to kind of collapse time. And I would just say the tools in the market will help you to reach more people. If you do decide to invest into different sources, there's companies out there that will call every single landlord in the market. They will text every single landlord in the market, or buyers or sellers, and ask if they want to sell. But it's either going to come at a cost, or you're going to pay for it yourself, like in your own time, energy, and efforts, right? So the best tools are the ones that you use. It's the ones that you use consistently, and the ones that you're consistently business building and reaching more people, because you really do need to spend 80% of your time reaching more out to people and 20% of your time nurturing your clients you currently have.
Thank you. What's the best way to optimize the matching of clients based on what their desires are and what you have in stock in terms of properties?
I mean, one of my recommendations is just make sure that you have some sort of a general blueprint of the types of questions that you are going to ask a seller and a buyer, so you never miss anything. Okay. And so, I have a seller intake form. It's like if I bring up like kind of a form, right? A seller intake form or a buyer intake form. Think of it this way. When you go to a doctor's office, what do they have you fill out? They have you fill out the details 100%, and then they follow up. What about this? Tell me more about this. Help me understand this, right? You want to show yourself as the market expert. How do market experts act? They have a way of confirming those details. This was created by me asking questions, and the top questions that I had with people, and literally just typing it out. The biggest thing is people are like, I got to get that questionnaire. No, you don't. You got to just know what are the questions that you are going to ask a normal person about what they need. A landlord's needs are going to be just a little bit different, but maybe 10, 20, 30%. That's it, So you're going to just make sure that you are understanding their needs at a very deep level. The top 3 questions that you really want to ask is this. Anytime they start going through things and there's something that they're like, well, there's this, or they happen to say something and you're like, tell me more about that. Help me understand why. Hey, why is that important to you? And allow them the ability to speak. Because the more they can give you the information, they may give you more information and nuances that you had no idea that is going to help them. Because somebody may say, I need a 4-bedroom, 2-bath for $500,000 in this location. And let's just say that area, everything's $600,000. Okay. So rather than me saying, yep, you're not going to be able to find anything because everything's $600,000. Sorry. Right. I'm saying, great. Why is that important to you? Well, we don't have any kids now. We're planning on having some in the future, so if I want to make sure I have the 4-bedroom and I love that location. Okay, one question for you. If you finished the basement and there was a property that was unfinished, would you consider something like that? Oh, for sure. My dad owns a building company. Okay, if you could build, was that something you'd take on? Oh, I'd actually love that. That'd be a great opportunity. Now I can find properties that are in that price range that do have an unfinished basement that he can do the work on because that's what he wants to do. Why? You simply just have to dig deeper. He wanted a 4-bed, 2-bath. I didn't take it at what the surface was. And that happens time and time and time again. But that's why you're there. That's otherwise you'd just be duplicated, right? They can do a 4-bedroom, 2-bath search in an area. It's your job to give your perspective. Let me tell you what I've seen. And if you haven't seen anything, that's okay, because you can essentially understand their needs and find it. Think about a newspaper. A newspaper we think about a newspaper, oh, they have all the information. Folks, it's very rare that one newspaper person that is essentially writing for the newspaper anymore knows everything. But what they do is they take the information, the resources around them, and disseminate it. So just be the resourceful person. Find the information for them. I mean, if you treat everybody with urgency and act with urgency, they're going to work with you every time, because people don't do that. They don't act that way in normal business because they're so used to just being like, well, if they call me back, that's one of the things they'll also say. Never have a client, never make the client call you back. It is not their job. If you didn't hear back from them, you call them again. Hey, I know we were following up. We haven't been able to connect. I'm just trying to see if we can follow up and find out if we're going to be meeting on Tuesday, or I'm coming to your office, or I'm doing a home evaluation, or I'm going to evaluate your rent rates, or I'm going to do a walkthrough. You know what I mean? It's your job to be urgent, follow up, because people appreciate it.
Thank you. Are there any AI tools that can do this kind of matching a lot better than what you mentioned? It's clear to me that a large part of this is actually you becoming a great problem solver for the kind of problems that the client doesn't even know they had. And so you need to be like really clever figuring this out. But how do you, is there any like AI tool that can make this matching a lot better and faster?
I mean, I think you could, again, whatever your input is going to be the output, right? So, I mean, if you're using different things, like I believe ChatGPT is great for lists, where it's like, look, I want to close 50 deals a year in this zip code. What are the top 5 companies I can reach for lead sources? It would probably spit out lead sources that you could call. Personally, I'm always going to say, talk to people in your office, talk to other people that have used those lead sources and find out what they've done for them. Okay. Get the referral. But if you're trying to say, hey, I want to use AI as a tool, use it for that. Help it to locate opportunities for you so that you can dig deeper on those. If it's like, I simply want to create a newsletter that I'm sending to my local farming market so I can own this market, great. What are the top 10 things that I should be looking for that are important to a home buyer in this zip code, in this area, and utilize those points to create those opportunities? If it's for investors or you're looking for investment properties, what are the top 10 problems that investors, or top 10 things that investors need or want in the market? Okay, guess what? They're looking for this, and this. All right, if I have these lists of people, what are the top 5 places to locate investors in my market? It's going to spit out those opportunities. So just remember, think about the questions you have, input it, and then get it out, and then keep digging deeper. I mean, it's almost like if you're calling me, what would you ask me? I'd say, look, I've used this one, it sucked. I did this one, it was amazing. I did this one and it was a break even. But I liked this one, even though it was a break even, I added more people to my database and they gave me more referrals because they were stronger lead sources, So reach out, be consistent. But I will always say, use AI as a tool. Don't use it as a pastime. Same with social media. Use it as a tool so it can help you to build your business. But you just have to essentially ask the questions that will maybe provide you value, and then just do your due diligence. This business is a very easy way to throw a lot of money away at lead sources that are very poor. So just do your research, check their Google reviews, make sure they're good. Just like if you were picking a builder to build your home, you're going to want to know what's their past, what's their record, how well do they do, and do they continue to service their clients? You know what I mean? So just be smart about it.
Thank you. Tell us where entrepreneurs can find you.
The best is via Instagram. Just find me at justyudy.com. That's justyudy.com. Message me there. You can see kind of my schedule, and what I do, like everything that I talk about. I mean, you see it every single day. So follow me there. I would love to converse with you. And if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to me there.
Thank you.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.